Google Pagespeed Insights, or PSI, is a tool that reports on the performance of a page on both mobile and desktop devices, and provides suggestions on how that page may be improved. A score of 90 or above is considered good, 50 to 90 is a score that needs improvement, and below 50 is considered poor. This short video will help you understand this score and provide more context so that you're not misled. Page speed is very important, but as with many things Google related, it's not always black and white. For example, here's a screenshot of Google flagging its own services as part of an audit. The point of this tutorial isn't to teach you how to reach 100% because there are far too many variables to ever be able to account for all of them in a one-size-fits-all video. However, we do want to help you identify some of the biggest factors at play. To start, here's a demonstration site that has a 100% page speed score on both desktop and mobile. The first recommendation is don't sweat the small stuff. Yes, every little bit can help, but if you're having page speed issues, chances are one small script on your site isn't going to be the silver bullet that fixes your issues. For example, sometimes Google Pagespeed Insights can hint that the Ngage code needs to be investigated, but this test shows how Ngage's impact is actually minuscule, especially compared to the other changes that can be made on the same site. Here's the same perfect page with Ngage added to it. As you can see, the score is still 100. Now let's take a look at a site that really could use some page speed improvement. Now there are a lot of issues here, some of which are far beyond the scope of simple fixes, but let's take a look at some of the opportunities listed. One common issue is that a simple fix is the use of oversized or high-res images. For example, a high-definition panoramic city skyline image might look nice on your website, but it could be seriously impacting your page speed score. To get an idea of how this can impact your page speed, take a look at this example. Here's the same perfect page speed site from earlier, but we've added a few oversized images to it. The page speed drops from 100 down to 74. Another thing to keep an eye out for is unnecessary CSS or JavaScript files. Many times these are left over from previous versions of the site or previous themes. Check out this site with a 0 page speed score. To get an idea of how much this can impact your site, we've added a big unused CSS file to our perfect page. The score dropped down from 100 to 81. Now, take a look at what happens when we combine these two issues together. Large images and a lot of dead CSS, down from 100 to a 61 page speed. Now let's get back to our problem site. There are a lot of script files that take a long time to run. Most of these are likely necessary for your website, so you don't want to remove them without knowing what each does first. For this reason, we recommend involving your webmaster with this step. In fact, you probably want to get them involved from the very beginning. Many of these files can be compressed, replaced with more efficient versions, and some can be removed entirely. As mentioned before, don't sweat the small stuff. For example, altering the Google Tag Manager script that takes 309 milliseconds to run, or Ngage Live Chat that takes 203 milliseconds, is not going to improve your page speed by much, if at all. The large script files, on the other hand, can make a major impact on your page speed score. Let's take a look at our perfect page. This time we've added the 4 big scripts from our problem page. The speed dropped down to 86. So if you find that those scripts are absolutely integral to the function of your site, at some point you'll need to confer with your webmaster and figure out if those page speed points are worth a new approach. Finally, let's look at our perfect page, but with all 3 crucial issues: CSS, images and video, and script files. With just 3 changes, the score drops from 100 all the way down to 49. These are very simple examples, but they are real results from Google that may apply directly to your site. Your server speed and content distribution network can also play a big role in your page speed, but those are typically more difficult to address. Again, this video is intended to point out some of the most obvious factors that can impact your page speed. Ngage recommends investigating these 3 big factors before you start pulling your hair out over issues that may not improve your score at all, or ones that are difficult, if not impossible, to fix. So just to recap, Make sure you don't have any oversized or uncompressed images or videos. Make sure your CSS files are optimized, up to date, and you don't have any extras floating around that aren't necessary. And lastly, don't sweat the smaller, faster scripts on your site. Instead, take a look at the largest, slowest script files on your site and see if any improvements can be made. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us info@ngagelive.com or chat with us on ngagelive.com.